Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into episode 114 of the Second and One podcast. Joining you today is myself, Shiz. We also have Mr. Mo Snell. And pinch hitting for Mr. Tahime Green, we have returning guest, Mr. Spy. Fellas, how y'all feeling? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Listen, man, this is same old, same old. 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
We're only a weekend, but I'm still optimistic about this 2021. But,
Yeah, we're off to a rocky start actually, but hopefully things make a quick turnaround and we can get make this year much better than last year. We'll see. But how this podcast works, we talk mostly about sports, hip hop, politics, and everything in between. We give it to you straight, raw, no chaser. And if we offend you, we apologize slightly. How we kick things off, we have our taking a shot segment where we give a bold prediction about one of the topics I just named. Collectively, we do well, but when you're taking a shot, you're bound to have some hiccups here and there. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna take it to this NFL. We're heading into the playoffs. My Cowboys are out, so I won't mention them again until next year.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna stick to the NFC, and I think this is going to. I mean, there's already questions. Is he the GOAT if he's not the GOAT or whatever? But I think this year, in this run that's getting ready to take place, I think it's going to end all debate. I think these Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. I think these Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. Here's my rationale.
all right.
So they're matched up against the Washington football team this week. Washington to put up a good fight, but I expect a nice victory for them. Now,
Nice. Are they covering or a blowout?
we'll get there. That's
Okay.
that's part of the topics. We'll get there. Now, after this week, you'll have the Packers, whoever the winner of the Saints and the Rams, and the winners of the other games. Every other team is shaky. Every team in the NFC is very shaky. There's no dominant team. And I seen what the Bucs did to the Packers earlier this year. Now, the Saints do have the Bucs number, but it's hard to beat a team three times. So, and then when you go to Seattle, they're very shaky. Their offense has been, their defense has gotten a lot better, but their offense, has slowed down tremendously. So I'm gonna trust old GOAT, Tom Brady. I think, he's going to be able to do enough. He has a ton of experience in the playoffs. I think he's going to be able to do just enough to either win at home or go on the road and win a game. And I think he's going to be able to propel this team to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they are more than capable of winning the NFC and representing the conference in the Super Bowl. So that'll be my pick for the NFC. You guys stay tuned for the AFC, but that is my taking a shot. Snell, your thoughts, your team.
I mean, this is
Actually, can I go first? This is your team.
Go right ahead. Go ahead, please.
Because I know you have a nice take on that.
Okay.
I think Bruce Arians is going to fuck it up.
So,
I think he's going to be too pass focused, not be balanced, and he's going to fuck it up bad. And then going off of what Snell said weeks ago, he might get fired.
that's how.
So
I
we're
believe-
we're on the opposite end where I think they could be going to the Super Bowl. You think he's getting fired. So
No,
okay.
I'm not saying he's going to get fired. I'm saying he's going to fuck it up, though. I think he's just too arrogant. His philosophy is, keep passing when that's not Brady at all. Brady's play action, go down low, and then if he has opportunity, take it up high. But Arians doesn't want that. He doesn't want to feed, Ronald Jones. He just wants to pass. And plus, I mean, they will get by the Washington football team, even though if Evans is playing or not. He shouldn't play. They'll get by, though, but next week, it'll be tricky for them.
Okay. All right. Snell, your team, your thoughts.
The one glaring issue you seem to discount or just keep skipping over is that these teams outside of Washington, even though you'll see it this week when we play Washington, our biggest struggle is our secondary, and we can't cover anybody. So even if we get past Washington, you have to face the Packers in the cold, which is not in our favor at all of playing in a cold weather situation.
Brady is, but the rest of the team, no.
Yeah. Just historically, I think our only like playoff win below 20 degrees is when we beat Philly to go to the Super Bowl. Nonetheless, we still have to cover those wide receivers with this secondary, which would be an issue. And if we were to get past them, we would probably run into the same issue. And why the Saints beat us is we can't cover anybody. So however this shapes out, we have to face a combination of Aaron Rodgers, probably Drew Brees, and Russell Wilson. Some way, shape, or form, you have to face that combination. After you get past, if you get past Washington, that's a combination that you have to face, which are all 3 Hall of Fame passing quarterbacks versus this secondary. If we got there, I wouldn't be shocked, but it's a tough road. It's not as easy as us just getting there. I think
it's not going to be
very tough road.
Yeah, it's not
very tough road.
It's not going to be easy at all. But I just think when it comes to trusting a team, even though Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl champion, Russell Wilson Super Bowl champion, the Rams have been to a Super Bowl.
No one's trusting the Rams.
No one's trusting them.
Yeah, you don't trust them, but at least they've been there in recent years.
Yeah,
it's Brady, and Brady, he kind of turns it up in the postseason, except for last year, of course. But
wait, who did he play last year in the first round?
I don't recall.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just think the Bucs, they're prepped. I mean, Mike Evans needs to be healthy, but they still have plenty of other receivers they can spread the ball around to. Rely on the running game a little bit. And Ty Bowles, draw up something, man. Call some turnovers.
Yeah,
call some blitzes or something. Get Aaron Rodgers off schedule. Get Russell Wilson off schedule. I think the Bucs have enough to make it to the Super Bowl. It's not going to be easy, of course. Anything can happen on any given Sunday or Saturday, but I think they have a shot. I think they have a real shot. That's going to be my pick.
Okay, I think that I think the NFC is, like you said, it's wide. I think it's wide open, but I just think
I agree with that.
I think the Packers have just having that bye is such a big advantage. Like they just have, to me, that's just such a big advantage this year. Of you get a bye, you're the only team that gets a bye. So they'll be sitting and waiting, watching that game. It's just such a great advantage this year. You're the only team that gets a bye. And then, so even if you do get past, let's say, they play the Bucs, they beat the Bucs, you're still, even in that championship game, you're playing somebody who just had to play 2 playoff games versus you playing 1, as opposed to how it was in the past where if it's 1 versus 2, you both only had to win 1 game to get here. So I just think having that bye is a big advantage. And like I said, we can't, I've been saying it I feel like for a decade now, we can't cover a twin bed with that secondary. So going up against Aaron Rodgers is a tall task. It's a tall task to ask from this team.
All right, moving on. Spy, what is your take of the shot, sir?
Okay, here we go. The hype on Trevor Lawrence is not real.
Okay.
I am tired of people saying he's a generational player. I am tired of people saying he's the it factor. The hype ain't there. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust. He's going to be good, but it ain't there, though. If you look at his last 3 close games against Fields last week, Joe Burrow and Fields again, he played horrible. He was never the best quarterback on the field. He plays, he plays in a horrible and weak ACC conference.
Hey, we're rebuilding. We're rebuilding, but go ahead.
I mean, he can make the throws, but, he has never been the best quarterback, even in the season. Last year was Joe Burrow. This year you can say is Mac Jones or Kyle Trask. Even last year you could say it was Tua or Justin Herbert. And plus, he's never been in a shootout either. He's been kind of comfort playing the ACC. And the shootouts that he's been in, he lost. So I'm saying the hype isn't there. He won't be a bust though, but it ain't there though.
So where do you project his career to be? Like, who do you compare him to in the NFL? Like, if you don't think he's going to be like Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, who do you compare him to? Like, is he going to be Kirk Cousins or Matt Stafford or like who's he going to be?
Well, first of all, I hate Kurt from last year going against Snell against the playoffs in Super Bowl. So no, I hate Kurt. I'll probably say like a Matt Ryan, maybe.
Okay, that's Matt Ryan has had a good career.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be a bust though, but like Todd McShay sitting at the kids' table is saying that he's the best player I've ever seen in my life. He's not though.
No,
you can give me Justin Herbert last year. You can give me Joe Burrow from last year. They were all better than him.
It's going to be. I mean, if he goes to Jacksonville, it's going to be welcome to hell immediately because it's Jacksonville, and he's going to have to do a whole lot because on offense, they're okay. Their defense is, really suspect. They used to have a great defense, but they got rid of all the players. But I think he's going to be good. I think him coming in and making an immediate difference. Like, the Jags are going to go from 1-15 to 10-6. Like, that's not going to happen.
But do you think the hype is there though? Do you think he is a generational player?
Oh man.
Ooh.
I mean, I
said like, woof, like that's a tough. I think he's
there. Like I think like he has it, man. Like he has the arm, he has the accuracy, he has the he can move.
This is what I'll say is that I think I think it's Andrew Luck all over again. Where I think he's a great talent. I think he'll do very well in the NFL, but being on a team like that, he's going to get hurt. And I think his career will just be short. So I think his career will be more like Andrew. When you talk about the prestigious quarterbacks with this much hype coming out of the draft, you talk about like John Elway. So I think he's more Andrew Luck than John Elway. Like I think John Elway really loved to play football, whereas Trevor Lawrence loves to play football, but I don't know. Like he may start getting hit and be like, this ain't it. This is not what my life's supposed to be like. Like I've been protected. You know what I mean? Like I've played on these great teams. I've never really been
on a conference.
Yeah, I've never really been on a losing team. Like you know what I mean? Like when you get someone like him, you get a guy that's he's probably lost 10 football games ever. In his life, listen, from high school to college, I lost. I think he only lost literally like 6 games or something crazy like that. So if he's that good, his Pop Warner team probably picked up another 4 losses, and that's about it. So he's probably lost about not that many games in his lifetime. So then you stick him on the Jags, and they'll build around him, and I think he'll be good.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think he would have the same performance as Joe Burrow on the Bengals? Burrow was killing it.
I think so.
I think Burrow, I think Burrow is killing it, but a good thing about I'll say about like a Joe Burrow is it's somebody who's faced adversity where, he got cut, switched teams, and had to kind of find his way. So he's, what I mean? He has some grit, he's really willing to stick it out and figure this thing out and make it work. Like he has that character as well. Trevor Lawrence is, you came into a team that really anybody could quarterback and just had to keep the car on, and just had to keep the car on the road. And now we're about to throw you to the wolves and see what happens. So I think he's talented. I think like you said, once in a generational quarterback from a talent standpoint, but I just don't know if he needs to play football for 10 seasons.
Well, that's the thing though, because I would take Deshaun Watson in college over Trevor Lawrence. Deshaun Watson had really nothing to play with because Clemson wasn't where it was as it is now.
No, he was a part of building that up.
But they had receivers, though.
Yeah, they had receivers.
Hunter
But
Renfrow.
when Deshaun Watson got to Clemson, they weren't national championship contenders
No.
at all. Like he's like ever since Trevor Lawrence got there, they were national championship contenders from day one. So I just don't know that. I don't know if he has the like. To me, Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a performance where it's like, wow, like he really he really showed me some heart. Like the Ohio, the you know what I mean? Like the Ohio State game where they came back, it was all right. Yeah, he took a big hit. He came back.
No, they came back because of a bullshit targeting call. They came back because J.K. Dobbins got hurt.
Yeah.
They came back because they called, which was a fumble, and Ohio State scored. They said it wasn't a fumble, even though he took 4 steps with the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when. So my thing is, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence isn't talented. I think he's talented.
He's talented.
I think his career will be similar to Andrew Luck, where it'll be a good, solid career. But it'll be short.
So here's a question that I saw. So if you're the Jags GM and you have a choice, do you take Justin Herbert or do you take Trevor Lawrence right now?
Ooh.
Like you have to make a decision before you see Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. Do you take him, or do you go with Justin Herbert?
Go with Justin Herbert. I would go with Justin Herbert. Yeah, based off of what he did, with what he had, you definitely would take.
Well, even in Oregon, like he showed you, like he can come back. He had numerous shootouts. He can come back. I mean, his team was talented, but wasn't. I mean, it's Pac-12. It wasn't that talented though.
Yeah. I just thought that was an interesting question that I saw earlier in the week, where if you're a GM and you have to make a decision, based off of all the hype around Trevor Lawrence, would you just roll with that, or would you take Justin Herbert after 1 year? And I was kind of like torn. I'm like, man, Justin Herbert has proven he can do it in the NFL, but with Trevor Lawrence, like he's projected to be the next Peyton Manning. Tough decision, but I don't know.
Well, because to me, like if you say the word like generational player, at any given point, they have to be the best player on the field. Like to me, and Snell probably agree, for Duke, Zion Williamson was a generational player.
Yeah, that's a one.
He was the best player no matter what. Like you can't sub out Zion Williamson for Vernon Carey and have the same results.
No.
Even for football, like to me personally, I think at the time Reggie Bush was a generational player.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop him at all. And when Trevor Lawrence got COVID, and then DJ, I'm not gonna say his name, came in.
Yeah. I mean, call him DJ.
Clemson did okay.
Yeah, no.
There was a drop off.
But hold on though, they lost to Notre Dame.
They lost to Notre Dame, not because of him.
But when Trevor came back, it was blowout city though.
All right, I'm gonna say something, and you're probably gonna laugh, but you have to realize who it is. I wouldn't be surprised if Dabo wanted to lose that game to build up Trevor Lawrence, because he's on record saying that he's mad that Trevor Lawrence has never been invited to the Heisman finalist. He's on record saying, I am boosting up Trevor Lawrence's stats to get him there.
So you think that Dabo wanted to lose that first game?
I'm not saying he wanted to, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, whatever. Because he knew no one else is beating them, and he knew that if they beat Notre Dame, Notre Dame chokes in big moments, that would be Trevor Lawrence's moment to win the Heisman.
See,
that's too much of a conspiracy theory. Like you're
I'm not saying it's conspiracy. I'm just saying in general,
I just think that this some of it what Spy's saying is true as far as like way Dabo thinks, because he's just a crazy maniac sometimes. But the thing that I will say is that when you like, if it's a close game, it's like I just think about like the mind state of people. So like if it's a close game and you don't have your quarterback and something goes wrong, you're kind of like, all right, we'll get him. Like I feel like Clemson that game had like, oh, if we don't win, we'll see him again. We'll get him with our full team. Like kind of like that, a laissez-faire type of attitude. Like, oh yeah, if we don't win, like we're still gonna go try to win. But if we don't win, they beat us when we didn't have our starting quarterback.
And it was overtime, double overtime.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. So I just feel like I'm not going to say a lack of effort, but it could also be like a receiver is not going to run, may not play as hard. Like, I don't know if this kid can make this throw, but I know Trevor Lawrence will make it. So I just feel like that game was a little bit of that, just like Clemson, like, oh, we don't have our full team, so if we lose, it's really not that bad. So I think that was the attitude as opposed to the ACC championship is like, hey, we need to win to get into the to get into the playoff. So kind of just a different mentality, I think, was the reason that you saw that blowout happen like that.
All right, moving on. Snell, what is your taking the shot, sir?
Listen, man, I'm staying with it. I'm sticking to my guns. I've told people the Steelers will not win a playoff game. I'm staying with it. I don't care if the I don't care who's coaching, who's not coaching, who's there, who's not there. I'm staying with it. The Steelers will not win a playoff game. They will be beaten by the coachless Browns this week, and that will be it for Mike Tomlin. That's my taking a shot. I'm sticking to my guns.
Well, I would be stunned
Uh,
if Baker Mayfield with no coach came in there and won a playoff game against the Steelers. If that happens, I agree. Tomlin, not to say that he's a bad coach, but the message just isn't working anymore. Big Ben, it might be time for you to retire as well. If that happens, I agree with you. I just don't see how the Browns win this game. Like I just don't see it. They have a good running game. They can make the game real tight, but a home playoff game for the Steelers, even though the fans are limited or if they're even going to have fans, it's the playoffs, man. The Browns ain't been here in almost 20 years. Like it's Baker Mayfield. Like, is he ready for this moment? I'm not sure, especially without his coach. I don't see it. So I'm going to disagree with you, but I will agree with you if somehow miraculously the Browns win this game. I think it's a total shakeup, but I just don't see the Browns winning. So I'm going to say that you're wrong. Spy, your thoughts?
dude, you're fucking wrong, man. All right. So the Browns barely beat the Steelers with Mason Rudolph playing. They won by
Big,
2
big,
points.
big, rude. Go ahead.
They don't have their head coach. And even Darren Orlovsky said it perfectly. The Browns will struggle in quarters 2 through 4 because the first quarter will be all scripted. Kevin Stefanski will script the first quarter, call all the plays, not call the plays, but give all the plays to the OC. And after that, it's going to be horrible. Baker's going to struggle. It's going to be all like Freddie Kitchens all over again, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man. This
I-
is why, and this is why they play the game. And it's not only, this is why they take the field, and the game is not played on paper. We'll see. Give me the Browns. I'm telling you.
Yo,
All right.
the Steelers are missing starters, and they lost by 2 points though.
Listen,
Yeah,
man.
that game. I'm glad that's one of I'm glad that's the late game on Sunday because the whole world will be watching that for sure. But round of applause for our taking a shot segment. All right, sticking right with the NFL, we have 6 wild card games coming up this weekend. First game on the docket: Colts at Bills. Bills 6.5-point home favorites. My opinion, the Bills should win this game, but Vegas always is ahead of everyone. When it seems like it's just everybody is on one side, the opposite happens. I don't think there's anybody outside of Indianapolis and our friend Zach betting on the Colts this week. So that just tells me that we should bet the Colts with this 6.5 because it's just too good to be true. Like, the Bills have looked great. Like, they look like a legitimate threat. The Colts, they've had an up and down season. Their defense is good. Phillip Rivers, always shaky. He's been shaky his whole career.
Old Phillip Rivers.
The run game for the Colts looked really well last week. We'll see if they can duplicate that this week. But something just tells me that while I don't think the Colts can win this game or will win this game, I think it's going to come down to a late field goal by the Bills with like 4 minutes to go, and then Phillip Rivers throws an interception as they're trying to drive to win the game or something like that. I don't think the Bills just royally whoop their ass like everybody's projecting them to. I think this game, is going to be like low scoring at a moment. Maybe the Bills do something late, but I think this is a really tight game. The Bills pull it off. When it comes to that 6.5-point coverage by the Bills, I don't see it. Give me the Colts plus the 6.5. Spy, your thoughts?
I see it. Give me the Bills. I don't trust Phillip anymore. It's gonna be cold in Buffalo. Probably gonna be raining. Probably gonna be a lot of wind. Phillip is used to that San Diego weather. Now he's in a dome. Dome teams don't play well on the road in playoff games in the cold.
That's true. That's
They
true.
struggled last week against the Jaguars. The Jaguars. The
You know,
Bills are on a
they're
mission.
playing. They're not showing their plays. You know, we're getting ready for the playoffs. We're just out here. Especially when they saw that Miami loss, it was like, all right, man, we just out here. You don't think so?
No.
No.
I am a believer in Josh Allen. I always have been, even though some people.
No, you have not. But go ahead.
I have been. I got text to prove it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be close. I think Bills cover because right now they're the hottest team right now that could beat the Chiefs though. Their defense is good. They got Stephon Diggs. He's playing the best ball he hasn't played in his life, and Josh Allen's hot right now. So give me the Bills.
All right, Snow, your thoughts.
I mean, so from a betting aspect, Shiz, I do agree with you. I think that when the whole world is on the Bills, you go the opposite direction, which is fine. But at the same time, I think Buffalo will be in full control of this game at all times. Like I think what I really see happening is this. Buffalo is in full control of this game the whole time. They're up by 10 the entire game. And then the Colts drive down, get a late touchdown to cover, and then that's how people's hearts are broken. But I think Buffalo will be in full control of the game the whole time. I think if the Colts are smart, all they can try to do is do what the Jags did years ago with Blake Bortles and take the ball out of Phillip Rivers' hands, hand it off to those backs to Hines and Taylor. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's used to the cold. He played in Wisconsin. Like, feed him the ball without that would be the smartest move they could do is to really play how the old Buffalo Bills played. Try to just run the ball a bunch, shorten the game, make it a field possession, our defense versus your offense type game. Try to just slow the game down, keep it close, and hope you can pull it out. Hope Josh Allen makes a mistake somehow. Maybe he fumbles or throws a pick somewhere or something like that. But I would definitely try to take the ball out of Phillip Rivers' hands. That's the only way I can see them even keeping the game close, is taking the ball out of Phillip Rivers' hands.
This is going to be the first game the Bills have fans too, so.
That's true. It's only going to be like 3,700, and that stadium is huge, but it's still better than nothing. So we'll see. Yeah. All right, moving on. Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks 3-point home favorites. Rams are still wondering if Jared Goff is going to play. If not, it's going to be John Wolford at a Wake Forest starting. I mean, if Goff, he's not that great, but he's a starting quarterback, and as you see, a starter versus a backup, like, there's a huge difference no matter how good your starter is. The Rams, though, I mean, they always play the Seahawks tough. Like, they make it interesting. The Seahawks, man, like I said, their offense has been shaky the last few weeks. I mean, ever since they lost to the Giants, it's just kind of been like, is this team that great, or are they Super Bowl bound? Are they one and done? Like, what are they going to do? So this game, I'm not going to bet it just because, like, I just don't know. I need to see what Goff looks like with the first couple drives if he decides if he's able to play. Maybe I'll do some live betting. But the Rams overall, their overall roster, when healthy, is probably better than Seattle in my opinion, especially on the defensive side. But with the injury, I just can't really predict one way or another. So I'm just going to pass on betting. But should be a good game one way or another. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would probably take the Seahawks just because of the situation. Not so much because I think it'll be a close game, but just in the situation. If you get off to a slow start and you're that team, if the Rams get off to a slow start, I can see them folding up shop after one quarter, just because it's like we got what's his name, Walford at quarterback,
John Walford.
So yeah, if you got down a touchdown or two, I'm like, listen, start planning my trip, start planning my vacation because we ain't coming back. So I think that
Cancun.
Exactly. Yeah. After that, mail it in. Like, so I think that would be that's the only reason why. So I think the Seahawks would come out and get an early touchdown, and then that team would just be like, listen, man, I ain't. This is business. I ain't out here embarrassing and hurting myself on national television for Walford. You know what I mean? For Walford at quarterback. So that's the way that I see it going. So I think the Seahawks will win. I just think not having your starting quarterback or a quarterback that's played a significant amount of games at this moment does not go well.
All right, Spy, your thoughts.
Well, I can't bet, so
Oh yeah.
I live in Florida, unfortunately. It all depends on the health of Jared Goff. I know Jamal Adams is banged up too, though, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Rams' defense is going to keep Russ intact for a little bit, and then if Walford is playing, that's when probably after the second, third quarter, that's when Seattle is just going to take over. But if Goff is playing, though, I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I can't pick it now because it all depends on Goff. But if he doesn't play, give me Seattle. If he does play, I think it'll be a very close game, though.
All right, moving on. We have Snell's Tampa Bay Bucks visiting the football team. Football team 8-point home underdogs. Chase Young has been running his mouth saying he's want Tom. He's been saying that all week, and here he's going to get him. I think this is a rude awakening for the football team that you don't belong here. I think the Bucks beat this team by at least 2 touchdowns. I'm definitely putting some money on the Bucks this week. I just don't see how Alex Smith or Taylor Heineke or whatever the hell is the backup quarterback's team is like it's just bad. It's a bad matchup. The secondary for the Bucks, as Snell said, is the weakness, but they don't have the quarterback to take advantage of it. So, all these short dink and dunk throws. Alex Smith doesn't really turn the ball over that much, but they do generate some pressure, and he can't move, so that's a problem right there. I just don't see how the Washington football team wins this game. I don't see how they keep it close, to be honest with you. The defense is good, but old Tom will figure it out. And, you giving Tom bulletin board material, that's just not good. So I expect a 2-touchdown or more victory by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Snell, your team, your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to say a two touchdown. That's giving a lot. But I think we should win the game. It's just the way that Washington set up. I think if we can get them down early, they can't really score. They don't have the offense to score quickly. And I think if they were to get out to a lead, I think that offense just doesn't do well enough to really scare me. I still think we would be able to come back and still win the game. So with that being said, I just think the Bucs will win the game, but it's the Bucs. Any big spread is not wise to take against them, but I think they'll be fine. I also think Washington's a little bit distracted this week because they also have to answer questions about how they feel about what the Eagles did in that game, and then you said, you have Chase Young saying he wants Tom. So I think they're a little bit distracted going into a big playoff matchup. So I think that works to our advantage as well. So I think we win the game. I don't know, what was it, 8?
Yeah,
eight's a little much.
It's a lot, but
on the road,
I just don't. Like I said, I don't see how Washington scores enough to cover. Like they might get like 10 points, and that might not be enough. But Spy, your thoughts.
Washington covers.
Okay.
Because it's going to be like the Bill Belichick factor. He's going to be somewhere on the sideline, somewhere in the stadium. We see like some fog coming in the second half. It's going to be distraction. Their defense is going to do good. I think their front four is one of the best in the league. But after the second quarter, entering the third quarter, I think the Bucs are just going to pull away.
All right.
The only Achilles that can happen is that they just keep passing the ball. That can hurt the Bucs.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is a blowout, but any given Saturday, so we'll see. All right, moving on. This is my favorite game of the week to watch. I'm not sure how I'm going to bet it, but Ravens at the Titans. Ravens looking for revenge from last season. Spy, you can lead it off. Your team, you're 3.5 point home underdogs, which was shocking to me. What are your thoughts on this game?
I don't know. We don't. We still don't have a defensive coordinator. Our defense.
Mike Vrabel.
No, he's horrible. You saw last weekend's Texans, man. It was up by 16 points and won by 3. Lamar is pissed off. John Harbaugh is pissed off because the whole when the Titans came on the field in Baltimore this year,
Oh
it was
yeah,
dancing on the
yeah.
logo.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I
y'all did.
forgot
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
y'all did do that. Y'all did.
Yeah.
That was y'all.
Even though the Titans did beat the Ravens, they were missing 2 key players, and especially being Calais Campbell. It's going to be a very, very physical and hard game. I don't know if the defense this year can this time stop Lamar Jackson. I mean, they've been running the ball good with him and J.K. Dobbins, though, but Titans defense, man, it scares me. Either it can be a close game or it can be a blowout. I am shocked, though, how they are home underdogs, but it's because of their defense. It all depends on if their defense will slow down Lamar. I mean, for the past 2 games, they have been, which is kind of crazy. But I'm not. Well, I can't bet. But if I could bet, I wouldn't bet this game at all because I don't know.
Yeah, this is a good game for me to just watch. I need to see what's going to happen because if you guys are able to contain Lamar again, then you guys have a good shot to win. But if Lamar starts slinging the ball around, Des Bryant turns it back to 2015. Who knows? But yeah, I just got to see what this is a good this is the game that I'm not going to touch, but I'm going to watch thoroughly. So, um, yeah, I don't know how this is going to go. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm shocked that the Titans are home underdogs, but yeah, that I forgot about that whole field dancing situation. So I don't know. The Ravens may come in here a little bit extra pissed off and steal a game. So it's a good game. If I was betting, I would probably go with the Titans because they're getting they're at home, but that's gonna be a tough game. That's gonna be a real tough game, and it's a playoff game, so I don't think we'll see too much throwing from Lamar Jackson. Like I don't think they're gonna. This is the time to show that part of your game. Like we just need to win this game. Like we don't need you trying to throw passes to Hollywood Brown today. We just need to get out here, run this ball, win this football game, and get home. So, but I would take the points and I would take the Titans this game.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have the Chicago Bears visiting the New Orleans Saints. Saints are 10-point home favorites. I want to just say the Saints just easily win this game, but the Saints in the playoffs, man, there's always something going on. So I think the Bears keep it close. I do think the Saints win, but I think the Bears, keep it within the 10 for sure. Mitch has been playing a little bit better.
No, it's Maserati, Mitch.
Oh, I thought it was motorboat
Maserati.
Mitch, or
Yeah.
moped Mitch, but yeah, he's been playing better. They did lose to the Packers to close out the year, but they was able to backdoor their way into the playoffs. It just depends. I mean, the Saints have the ingredients to win a Super Bowl, and there's been reports out there that this is Drew Brees' last rodeo. So go out on top, win one for the old Gipper, as they would say, with Drew Brees. But something always happens to them, man. Like they lost to the Vikings, and then of course
The Rams.
the Rams, and then
Yeah.
the Vikings before with the miracle touchdown. Like it's just always something with this team in the playoffs. So the 10 is too much for me, but I do think they win this game, and move on to the second round. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they win this game. Regardless of which Mitch shows up, whether it's Mitsubishi or Maserati that shows up, I just don't think that team has enough to win. So, in this round with this game, I would take the Saints, but I think next round I think they always get bit by that bad luck somehow. So I don't see them making it to the NFC Championship game. But this week I think they get through.
All right, moving on. We have
You just gonna skip
no,
me?
my bad. No, go ahead. Go ahead, my bad. I thought you said something, but nah, go ahead.
No,
Your thoughts.
we'll keep moving. I agree with both of you guys. Only thing that scares me is the fact that the Saints always had that bad luck. It's always last year was the first round, but it's I don't know. If they
No.
can get past that bad luck, Saints win easily. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Kind of touched on it earlier. The Browns at Steelers. Steelers are 6-point home favorites. The game was at 4.5, but Stefanski, he has COVID now, so it went up to 6. And we kind of touched on it earlier. The Steelers cannot lose this game. Like, they cannot lose this game. And if they do, drastic changes are coming. I just think that Baker Mayfield in his first playoff game without his head coach on the road is just going to be too much for him to overcome. And, make a Fitzpatrick might make a play or two early in the game, get Baker fully rattled, and then it's blowout city. I just think that, the spot is too big for Baker without his head coach, and I just don't see the Browns winning this game. So I'm going to take the Steelers and the points. Steelers cover the 6, and they move on to the second round. Spy, your thoughts.
Like I said before, Steelers will win. They lost last week by 2 points, minus Joe Hayden, minus T.J. Watt, minus Big Ben, and Browns don't have Kevin Stefanski. They'll be right in the first quarter because they'll be all scripted. But quarters 2 through 4, Steelers will put it on. If they do lose and there are drastic changes, I will make a predicament, but I will save it for our next topic, though.
Okay. All right. Snow, you kind of you touched on the Browns winning this game. Do you want to add any more to it, or?
Listen, man. So give me you already know. Give me the Browns. The Steelers are not equipped to win a playoff game. I'll take I will take the Browns. I will say that all the pressure is on the Steelers. If the Browns can get an early score, I think, as I've seen before, I think the Steelers will crumble. I think they will fold underneath that pressure of we're about to lose back-to-back football games to the Browns, one being in the playoffs without their head coach, and I think the Browns will pull it out. That's all I'm going to say, and this is why the game is played on the field and not on paper.
All right. So we discussed all the first round games. What is your Super Bowl prediction? You guys have teams that are in the playoffs, so it's going to be kind of hard for you to make an unbiased decision. So since I'm out, I'll give my unbiased prediction. I already said the Bucs. I think it's going to be Bucs Chiefs. The trendy pick has been the Bills. I just cannot see the Bills going on the road to beat the Chiefs in the playoff game. And yeah, I don't see it. So the Chiefs, they've been kind of like, driving half speed the past like 3 weeks or so. But when the playoffs start, they're going to turn it way back up, and it's going to be the Chiefs, just really playing at a high level, and that's going to be my Super Bowl matchup. Bucs Chiefs, Chiefs win, and Mahomes gets his second. Spy, your thought. I mean, Spy, what is your Super Bowl prediction, sir?
Yeah, well, the Titans won't be in it. I'll tell you that right now. Chiefs, Packers.
Packers, okay.
I think the Packers are going to be very, very hard to beat in Lambeau, and it'll probably be snowing. And I don't think any team is equipped to beat them. I mean, Tom Brady in the Bucs, yeah, but it's going to be too cold up there, man. So give me Chiefs, Packers.
Okay. So your Super Bowl matchup, sir.
I think my Super Bowl matchup also will be the Chiefs versus the Packers. I think the playoffs will be I think it'll be a lot of chalk where it's just going to be the teams that's supposed to win are going to win, and you get the top NFC team versus the top AFC team. I think that the number one seed being the only team with a bye is just a huge advantage, and I think we'll see it play out this year. And I just think you get the top two teams from each conference, and you get Chiefs Packers.
All right. Do you have a dark horse team from either conference that you think could possibly make it?
Oh, dark horse team. I think if the dark horse team would be for me in the NFC would be the Bucs. I think if they somehow miraculously find a way to get through there and get, I think if they got past the Packers, I think the just the adrenaline and it would be very hard to beat them in that NFC Championship game after going to Green Bay and beating Aaron Rodgers. So I think they would have a shot to get there, and then in the AFC, I would say the dark horse team is the Bills. I think they have the talent and they have enough weapons to properly beat the Chiefs, one of the few teams that do it. I think their running game is just good enough. I think Josh Allen is like just a mobile enough quarterback to where he's going to make plays for you. And I think you have Stephon Diggs as like a solid receiver threat to occupy that secondary. So I just think they have just enough, and I think they have a good enough defense to come up with something that possibly could throw Mahomes off and possibly pull it off. So if a dark horse Super Bowl, it would be Bills Bucks, but that would be wild.
All right, Spy, do you have a dark horse? It doesn't have to be a matchup, just like a dark horse team that you think could make a run to the Super Bowl.
For AFC, I agree with Snell. It would be the Bills. NFC, if they can get past that black cat, it would be the Saints, man.
That black cat.
Their team is ready. I mean, they have all the pieces. I mean, you got your second receiver in Emmanuel Sanders. Michael Thomas is now healthy. As long as he's not punching people in practice, he's fine.
Yeah.
The defense is good. I mean, like I said, if they can get past that black cat, it'll be them.
Yeah, I don't see in the NFC. I don't really have a dark horse because I just think each team is flawed. I don't really see, I mean, I of course I could say the Packers, but that'd be chalky. So I'm not going to say they're a dark horse team. But in the AFC, if they could get past this first round, it's going to be tough every round, but I think Baltimore has something for these playoffs this year, man. I think last year left a sour taste in their mouth, and this year they were struggling. And then when Lamar came out to beat the Browns, and they haven't lost since, they're just on a roll. And each game they're probably, they're not an underdog in this matchup, but going forward they probably will, especially if they play the Bills and then the Chiefs. I think Baltimore, they're equipped to just make a run because they're super. I think they're just probably more motivated than a lot of other playoff teams because they were supposed to at least be in the AFC Championship game last year, and they get bounced by the Titans the way they did. That's going to be their motivation for this run. So I think the Chiefs are the favorite. Obviously, Bills are probably the second choice. But I think a dark horse could be Baltimore. That would be my dark horse to make a run to the Super Bowl from the AFC. And like I said, in the NFC, I don't really have one. So, but all right, moving on. So some off the field news. Deshaun Watson, after signing a large contract last offseason, he wants to leave. He's upset that he didn't have a voice in the signing of their new GM. It was kind of done. He was promised that he would have a say-so in the GM and the coach that was picked. They signed a GM within the past 12 hours, and Deshaun pretty much didn't have any idea about the hire. So he's been upset about that. And here comes the question: Deshaun, do you think he gets traded? And if he does, where do you think some of the better landing spots are for him? Spy, I'll start with you.
So, you remember how I said that I have a predicament if the Steelers lose?
Mm-hmm.
Steelers,
okay.
Yeah.
Big Ben. Well, I have other teams too, but if they do end up losing, which I don't think they'll lose, if they lose in the first round, Big Ben is owed, I think, $41.3 million next year. If they decide to keep him, they'll cut him just to save the money. They also got to re-sign Juju and Bud Dupree. That offense is, besides Snell's cousin Benny.
Benny might be done. Benny, it's hard. Benny be trying like Benny has to get a yard, and Benny just be like jogging. Like, yo, you got to get a yard, man.
Yeah, it's crazy with him, man. I remember watching a few games like late in the year, and I'm like, all right, Benny's in, Connor's out, and Benny, he could not get a yard. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, you can't get me 1 yard, Benny. Like, you got 3 opportunities, and he's just getting stuffed each carry. Like, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Like, yo, this man, he's not even trying to elude the tackler. He's running directly into the tackle and just going down. Like, it was crazy. But okay, so you think the Steelers? Snow, do you have a?
Well, I'm saying that because if it's the ideal spot, they want a quarterback because their team is ready to compete and he'll be the best fit. If not, if the Texans want draft picks, it would be either the Jets or the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they don't have any draft picks for this year in the first 2 rounds, and then so they need help.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I just don't think he gets. I don't think he gets traded. I just don't think it happens. I don't know. I feel like having him involved with the GM doesn't really matter to me. If I'm him, it doesn't really matter. I think the head coach is more of where he needs to be involved at because that's more of the person that I think he'll have the day-to-day contact with. So I think that's more important than I would say the GM is. So getting a head coach that he likes and being assured that head coach will tell the GM this is how we need to assemble the roster, I think that's the most important part. So I think the GM hiring, I don't really think it makes him too upset or as upset as it's been portrayed. But the head coaching hire, I think he absolutely needs to be in the big seat at the head of the table when that conversation happens. So I don't think he gets traded. But if he were to get moved, I mean, I would think the Jets would. I would think the Jets would sell everything that isn't bolted down to get like a quarterback like that in New York. But I think any struggling. I think any struggling franchise, if he's on the table, I think you take it. Like if you're Jacksonville, you can get him.
I don't think they'll trade within the division though, unless Jacksonville gives them like 2 first rounds.
Exactly, like
crazy.
Anyone that can kind of, to me, anybody that can get their hands on him, and the Texans are willing to listen, then let's have a conversation. If we need a quarterback, for sure. Even if you're somebody like, I know it would never happen, but even if you're somebody like Atlanta, like, hey, we got our quarterbacks getting a little older. Like we're still giving you a competent quarterback in return. Like, so anyone that, like you said, in a situation where your quarterback's older and you could, hey, here's a competent quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years at least you have somebody that can run an offense, and here's a pick, and we get Deshaun Watson, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So if he's really on the block, I think they'll get offers from across the league. Yeah, across like league wide. Like it'll be a lot of teams coming in.
Yeah, I think if I'm Miami, I'm packaging up Tua. I'm giving up this 3rd pick from Houston. Here, you can have your pick back.
Yeah.
I would start with that if I'm Miami. Other teams, San Francisco would be interesting. Yeah. Denver would be interesting. I'm not sure. Like, I wonder if like the Texans will be interested in like a Wentz and a first type of move too, because at least the money would kind of match up.
Yeah.
So that might be on the table, but I don't know, man. Every team going shoot. I know Jerry going to be calling as well. Like if he's actually on the block, like, hey man, we'll do a sign and trade.
You got Andy though. You'll be fine.
Stop. Yeah, I mean Jerry, like we do a sign and trade with Dak. We'll give you a sec, something, man. Like, but at the end of the day, I don't think he gets moved. I would. Let
me ask you a question. You would want Deshaun over Dak?
Hell yeah, immediately, okay. Absolutely. He's better. Like playing. I mean, I told we're not going to discuss Dak and the Cowboys until we get to the contract talks later on in the offseason. But if the opportunity was, Dak and a second for Deshaun, Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Okay.
I would do it. So we'll see. Off season has just began.
Also, the Raiders. The Raiders are another team that are in quarterback limbo. That's another.
Yeah. I just want to know if the Raiders do they even have a pick? Well, they got the 17th overall pick, so okay, they can make it happen. Yeah, man. Saints could be an option. Drew's gonna retire.
Yeah, any
New England, who knows, man?
I just don't think New England has the draft picks though, because they pick what?
New England is picked 15.
15, yeah.
Shoot, even the Giants might get involved. Every team other than the Chiefs, the Bills, the Packers, like 2/3 of the league at minimum is going to make a phone call just to see what's going on out there.
I agree.
So we'll definitely keep track of that over the off season. Some other quick notes. Marvin Lewis interview with the Jets. This is not a Rooney Rule because the enemy is supposed to be interviewing with them as well. So maybe there's legit interest there. We'll see how that goes. Jason Garrett got an interview with the Chargers somehow, some way.
That's your boy.
I mean, I don't know how the Giants' offense was below average at best, so I don't know how he got an interview. Jim Schwartz stepped down. He's going to take a year off or more. He had to get out of Philly, so he's taking a step away. Is there anything left in the NFL that we may have missed?
No, I think we good.
No? All right, round of applause for the NFL. All right, real quick, the national championship, Ohio State versus Alabama. It's scheduled for this upcoming Monday, but the Buckeyes have an alleged COVID outbreak. I think it's more of Justin Fields needs another week to get healthy. The current line, which is interesting, DraftKings has it at Alabama -9, but other books, including FanDuel, has it at Alabama -7.5. It's rare that you see that big of a difference between sports books. I think I don't know, man. I think Alabama just has too much for Ohio State, especially if Waddle plays. But Ohio State, they're determined to prove the doubters wrong. I think last week, Dabo saying that they're not even a top 10 team really motivated them. Now this week, you have Nick Saban's daughter talking about they're trying to push this thing back a week. So that might be some more bulletin board material to motivate them. But if this game does get played on Monday, I expect Alabama to win. 9 is a bit much, so I'll have to do some more research on that about the line. But if this game does get played on Monday, I do think Alabama wins the game. So they'll have another national championship under their belt. Snell, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think like you said, the COVID trying to push the game back. I don't think that's too wise of a decision because, like you said, as I know you want to get Fields healthy, but you're also at the same time giving Waddle more time to get healthy. So you're trying to play a game of, all right, how much time can we get without having that man get on the field? Because that's a whole different problem, and that's a whole new wrinkle that you haven't seen basically all year. So I don't know if it's really in their best interest to push the game too far back or to make too big of a deal about anything, because that would be a big problem for them, I think. But I think Ohio State has a good enough team to cover. I just don't know, like the health situation. Like if Justin Fields can't really run, I think Alabama's defense is good enough to just shut all of that passing down if they have no fear about Justin Fields taking off and running. So his health is a factor for sure, but I think they do have enough talent at all the skill positions and on defense to at least cover. Like I don't think he'll be able to run away from the Ohio State corners how he was with Notre Dame. Like there was nobody that could cover him on the field. But I think Ohio State has enough talent to at least, if he catches the ball, tackle him. Like they have enough talent for that. So I think they can cover. But I think Alabama does win the game.
All right, Spy with the Florida Gator wallpaper behind him. What are your thoughts, sir?
It's hard to tell because if you follow I know we don't follow, but if you follow Alabama though, whenever they have a coordinator leave, take another position, they struggle. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And Steve Sarkisian is be the head coach of Texas, and I don't know if his mind's into the game. It probably is though, but Alabama should win. They have the most well balanced offense. With Najee Harris and then Devontae Smith, and I don't think Wilder will come back. I think that's just just smoke. But if he does come back, though, they should easily win. I mean, Buckeyes defense it isn't like last year's defense. The secondary isn't as good as last year too. If you watch the Clemson game, Sean Wade was getting picked at nonstop. So you can give me Bama.
All right. So if this game gets played Monday, we'll have a new national championship the next time we record. If it gets pushed back, we get more time to handicap. So we'll see. But round of applause to college football. All right, making a quick pit stop over to the NBA. We're moving along with the season. Some surprising standings. We have the 76ers at 7-1. The Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, Phoenix Suns at 6-2, and my New York Knicks at a miraculous 5-3. I did not see this coming. I thought we were going to have another pathetic season. It's still possible that we may, but I'll take this, little nice run that we've had. Tom Thibodeau has proven that, hey, I'm gonna play you 48 minutes. Just as long as you're in shape, you can play. So, but yeah, I'm happy with the start for the Knicks.
Is that why you're wearing your hat?
Oh, I got a hat on. I didn't even realize that. My bad. So yeah, I'm happy with the start. But some other surprising teams like your Pacers 6-2. What are your thoughts on the team?
Listen, man, it's still early. We can still use a couple. I still think we need a piece. But listen, they seem to be playing well so far, so I can't complain. New head coach, Victor's coming back. He's starting to look more like his old self. Last week I said he's still not back, but now he's starting to look more like his old self again. So I can't complain. We're off to a good start. My prediction for Devin Booker being MVP. The Suns look to have a solid record, but he's scoring less. So maybe maybe that's a part of it. So we'll see. But the Suns they're doing much better than I thought, for sure. I didn't think they would have. I thought they would just be a 500 team all throughout the year.
Yeah. And real quick, before you go, Spy, I have to publicly apologize to Malcolm Brogdon. I thought he was a bum coming out of college, but the man is just he's really developing into he's already been a good defender, but now he's like scoring at will. He had like 35 the other night, which was like wow. So yeah, he's really developed into a really good player. I still think he's a bit stiff, but he's developed into a nice, smart, savvy veteran player, and my apologies to him and his family. Spy, what are your thoughts on some of these surprising hot starts by these teams?
I'm not surprised the Sixers. I mean, 76ers, they have Doc. Doc usually does good in regular season, and playoffs is questionable. The Knicks, they have their hot streak every once in a while. So I mean, it is what it is, though. But I mean, it's different. You could say it's COVID basketball. The arenas ain't packed how it is. You have people who are used to shooting in the gym by themselves can get hot. So I'm not surprised at all. To be honest with you, Pacers have always been a good team. Once Victor Oladipo gets healthy, they'll be good.
All right, and someone to transition into some of the bad starts. The Raptors 1-6. The Wizards 2-6. I mean, the Wizards. I understand their sluggish start because Russell Westbrook, trying to mesh with Bradley Beal, who's a dynamic scorer. That's going to take a little bit of time. But the Raptors, I mean, they did lose. They lost Serge. They lost Gasol, but 1-6. Like I'm pretty stunned, and this thing might spiral out of control in a hurry for this team. I had them, I think, in my early preseason rankings. I had them either finishes second or third in the East just because they just win a lot of regular season games. It seems like the Fred Van Vliet extension or signing hasn't worked out thus far. The Knicks dodged the bullet, thankfully, with that. But yeah, any thoughts on the sluggish start by the Raptors or the Wizards?
The Raptors, I'm not surprised at all. Losing Marc Gasol
Yeah.
and what was it? Gosh,
Surge.
Serge. That was huge. I mean, that kind of I wouldn't say that kind of helped out Siakam though, but it helped him out a lot though. Those are two big bodies right there, and Serge Ibaka is, even though he isn't like a top 50 player, he gives you that top 50 player effort when he's playing.
Yeah,
So that, I mean,
he's just a well-rounded player. He's really good on
yeah,
defense.
very good on
And
defense.
he's a he's a knockdown shooter almost, like
Yeah.
when he shoots from three, like he shoots a very good percentage. Smart basketball player. They miss him big time.
Yeah.
Snell, any thoughts on these sluggish starts?
Yeah, like you said with the Raptors, they kept good old Van Vliet, but they lost Marc Gasol and so like that's not the route they want to take. So they lost some key pieces. So I'm not surprised by their by their slow their slow start with the Raptors. So I don't know, man. It's still early. It's still the opening opening couple weeks. So they have time to turn it around, but. Yeah, when you lose key guys like that's been on that team for that long, I think this type of drop off is expected to happen for them.
All right, round of applause for the NBA. All right, moving on to some current events. I mean, there's really nothing else left to discuss other than what took place in DC on the 6th. And, I'm not going to take a deep dive into it because, I mean, pretty much everything I thought under the Trump administration, besides World War III, has happened. Divisiveness, empowerment to like racist people. Now we're in a pandemic that nobody saw that part. I didn't see that part coming, but it's just a complete mess. What we saw on television in DC was a tragedy, and the fact that this was, somewhat allowed almost. The double standard is evident in how things are handled when it comes to skin color, and I'm just going to leave it there before I say too much. But it's just it's unfortunate. Trump has decided to make a peaceful transition on the 20th for the inauguration, which, in my opinion, is a dangerous place to be at on the 20th. I wouldn't recommend anybody going to that because who knows if those supporters are coming back. So
Well,
yeah,
you
man.
do know why he made a peaceful transition though, and now he's kind of backpedaling, right? You do know the reason why.
No, I don't.
So, with the whole 25th Amendment being, talked about, and then another impeachment, it's going to get really, really bad for him because now the FBI is looking at charging him with,
Oh, good.
with I don't want to say aiding and abetting, but just giving that voice to commit crimes. And then you see 4 people dying. And you saw today that one of the police officers died today too.
Yeah.
So Trump knows that basically if he got taken out by the 25th Amendment, he's fair game to anybody. Even though, impeachment wouldn't happen that quick. But one thing that I heard today that kind of gave me like, all right, it could happen. If they impeach them and Republicans don't want to do it because they're scared of 2024, they can pass a legislation saying that we will impeach Trump and we will ban him for life from running again for president.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
So
interesting.
that's another option that could happen if Democrats want to be like, yo, let's get him out of the office, and Republicans kind of like, no, I don't want to because he can come back and hurt us. That's another option they can go.
Wait, so
Basically,
say that again. So if they impeach him, the Republicans can ban him for life. Is that what you is
they
that
can do a legislation to make him not run again for president.
if they impeach him?
Yeah, well, it won't be 25th Amendment because Mike Pence said he's not doing it because Mike
Yeah,
Pence has to sign off on that, so it'll have to be impeachment. So that would
got
be
you.
a way to kind of like get Republicans on board, be like, yo, we want him out now. We know you're scared of him. he might come back in 2024, even though he hasn't really officially said it. He floated around with it. That's a way to kind of like say, yo, he's done. So come on, let's get him out.
Interesting. What were your thoughts on the whole Capitol Hill incident?
Um,
Uh,
you asking me or Snell?
Or you? I'm asking you, Spot, since you got
Like Snell's favorite GIF. I'm not surprised. I mean, he's been saying it for how long? I mean, if you go back to the presidential primaries and the debates, stand back and stand by. I mean,
it's true.
We heard his words. I mean, I'm not shocked, and people are shocked though. But it's like, would you be shocked if somebody came to the job drunk every day and drunk on the job and they got fired? No, that's what he's basically doing though. He showed his true colors. He found out that he couldn't win back the election. He did what he did.
Yeah, but are you surprised at how the police reacted? Like
No,
I was pretty shocked. Like they were inside where like
it
when
happened before though. If you look at it for Michigan, when he said liberate Ohio, Michigan, they did the same thing.
But Pence wasn't in the building when Pence was in this building when this took place. Like Secret Service is supposed to just like start shooting on demand when stuff like this happens when the vice president is there.
They should.
So I was really surprised that they were able to get to like Nancy Pelosi's office, and they were in where they were counting up the ballots and the electoral votes. Like they were inside that room. Like,
well, Capitol Police is picked by the president as far as the sergeant. So why would I be surprised?
That's supposed to be like, yo, shoot on demand.
Shoot
on demand. Like, and it's unfortunate that the one lady got killed. Like that was crazy to see. Like that was like somebody recorded that whole thing, which was wild. But like it was really sad to see that police officer pass away today. I just thought the way the law enforcement handled it, I'm very surprised. But again, it just confirms everything that we believed in. Like
I would be more surprised
Americas.
If it happened somewhere else. But in DC, I'm not surprised at all, though, because just the fact that the Capitol Police is picked by the president, and of course he resigned today, but
which is also just cowardly. Yeah. But whatever. Yeah. So now, what are your thoughts on this whole incident?
I have a couple of things. I guess first and foremost, nobody gets into the Capitol without somebody letting you in. So that we'll start there. So
they were let in though. You saw the video of some cops just opening the gates for them.
Yeah. So that's the so you don't get in without somebody letting you in. I'm shocked, like you should. I'm shocked that it wasn't more gunfire because whatever percentage you want to take, I'll say of that crowd, if it's 100%, I think about 2% came prepared not to go home. So if we let off a couple of shots, a large majority of that crowd is turning around and backing up. And I think if you're up on steps and people have to come up the steps, that's the worst place to be. If you're me, trying to go forward and you got to go up. So yeah. I'm shocked they just didn't shoot off shots just to get people to back up. Because like I said, I think those are, somewhat working folk. So I think if you'd have let off a couple of shots, I think people would have quickly aborted that mission and backed up. A large amount of them anyway.
Well, one of the guys who got arrested is a federal employee, he said.
Yeah. So yeah, but again, he's a federal employee. So I don't think he had was a federal employee. But like I said, if he's going up the steps and he hears gunfire, he's like, hey, I still got a federal job. I might want to turn around and back up. So that was my only thing that shocked me, that, hey, they didn't send off like more warning shots, because I think that would have backed a lot of that crowd up immediately for the most part. But again,
I agree 100%. Like that's what when I was watching, I was like, man, just fire a couple shots in the air. Like this thing be
clear out
quickly. Like
clear out.
But
it'll clear out fast.
Once they were on the second floor. They were switching flags. They was doing all types of crazy stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't think this was planned, but there's some type of nonsense going on behind the scenes to the point where they were allowed to get that far into the building.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
if they really wanted to stop those people from coming in, they
Oh
could
yeah,
have easily
Oh
done it.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Which
Like I
is the
said,
confusing part to me.
like I said, there's no with all the technology in DC. The only way you're getting in is because we're letting you in.
Mm.
Yeah,
But the same thing can be said that I think a lot of those people that were recognized, I think their lives are also ruined. Like I don't think Nancy Pelosi is going to just be like, okay, you sat at my desk, and then she's going to be like, all right,
oh
back
yeah,
to
no, he's
work.
getting yeah,
I
he's getting
think
prosecuted.
she's yeah. I don't think she not only you getting prosecuted. I think she's going to track down your entire family tree
Well,
and ruin
it's,
their and ruin their world. Like
it's a
that's
federal crime, so
yeah,
FBI's on you ready.
exactly. So I think it's going to be a lot of that, a lot of and a lot of those people like I also think a lot of those people were like middle America, not whether they are or they aren't, but I think there were. I know the one girl that got maced said she was from like Tennessee, and so I think it was a lot of those states. So if they were complaining about jobs and factories not coming back, I think they should be prepared for an extension on that as well. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it all plays out though.
yeah, and some other news from Trump: he's been banned from Facebook and Instagram until after he's out of office, which I think banning him from social media might have a bigger impact than an impeachment. Actually,
Oh yeah,
I
because
know.
that's his way to communicating.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say do both. But if I had to pick one, I think the banning from social media helps a bit more because you know every morning he just gets those tweets off and just gets the people riled up. So banning him from there temporarily, I think will help. But yeah, man, it's crazy, but everything that I thought would happen under Trump. Like I'm not like this divisiveness stuff. I'm not surprised, and it people that denied it for all of these years, you look stupid now. Like you're talking about like oh there's no racism, there's no this, there's no that. Yes, there is, man. Like it was clear as day because like if that was a Black Lives Matter protest for somebody that got shot, not because we lost an election, but somebody got shot you know, the National Guard would have been at Capitol Hill
Oh
just
yeah,
waiting.
they'd
Well,
have been
they
they'd
already
have been
was
there.
there though.
Yeah, they'd have been there.
That's the thing that people forget. Like when Trump had the National Guard, come out for his press conference, whatever, and disperse them, there was a military helicopter above the crowd, telling them to get out the way.
Yeah. So
So I mean,
it's just it's a different standard, and we can really get into that, but you are like the people that thought that it wasn't the way it is. They understand now that it's two Americas.
I don't think they do. That's a sad thing though.
Or I think they do, but they won't admit it. I think the
I
admitting
don't know.
part, the admitting part is the biggest problem, and they probably never will admit it. But the truth is out there. We saw it on all news outlets yesterday that this is how things are handled a certain way with one group of people and another group of people, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
all
Agree.
right, so I'm not going to round of applause to that. So, any closing remarks before we begin to wrap this thing up?
What's that? I don't have any. I don't have any. I don't have any closing remarks, man. Be safe. Be safe out there. Wash your hands.
Yeah, the
Wash your hands.
pandemic is still here. The
Like the
pandemic
num
is
the numbers seem to be going up as they say. So listen, man. Wash your hands, and yeah, that's it.
stay
Stay safe.
stay safe. So, round of applause to
Yeah.
episode 114. All right, you guys can find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, check out our YouTube channel at Second and One Podcast. Also, if you want to, be on the show, you have any questions, you have any merchandise you want to send us, you want to send us some money, send that all over to info@secondandone.com. Yeah, moving on. Playoffs are here. I'm glad the NFL was able to push through. I had no doubt that they would get to this point, and I have no doubt that the season will finish on time. NBA, they seem to be doing pretty well as far as like, making sure these games get played. So that's a good thing. Baseball will be starting up soon. Hockey will be starting up soon. So, sports is just going to keep this thing going. And, as the vaccines continue to get out, apparently there's more vaccines. Like the supply is bigger than the demand. I mean, the demand is there, but they're not administering the vaccines at a fast enough pace. I don't know what the issue is with that, but the vaccine is here. So hopefully 2021 is going to be. We've gotten off to a rocky start, but as the time progresses, hopefully things get better. They TMZ tried to kill off Dr. Dre, but he's going to be okay.
So he did again. That TMZ, they're at a 99% accuracy rate.
Nah, man, there's 69.9% accuracy.
No,
they tried to kill him off. They see, this is what I don't like about TMZ. They said Dr. Dre suffers a brain aneurysm. When you think of brain aneurysm, you think of like, yo, this man is almost dead. Like brain aneurysm, like you don't really hear good things when you hear that word.
Well, no, but that's what happened.
Are you like, okay, brain aneurysm might have been a little bit extreme. Could have said Dr. Dre suffers a brain injury. He's alive.
Even if you heard brain injury, that's still serious.
Yeah,
he's alive and well. So again, I just don't like how TMZ operates. Like they move foul.
They have they have his file. Like they were staying at his medical file when they wrote that up. They know what the man had, and that's what they put down. Listen, man, it's a brain aneurysm. That's what happened. Just not a deadly one.
I mean, he might have just had a concussion, but they're going to say an aneurysm. Like I don't know, man, because they said he's conscious and lucid. I'm like that man. That means he's just up, like walking around, maybe like he's alive and well. This man's concussed, not no aneurysm. Like aneurysm is just so much more deadlier. But anyway, he's alive and well. So 2021 is okay. We're off to a bad start, a rocky start with this Capitol Hill stuff. But okay, maybe we can turn this thing around. But I don't know, man. Any closing thoughts? Any closing remarks? How was your New Year? Did you guys do anything crazy or? I went to Dubai.
Stop.
No, I was home, man. You watched the ball drop, went to bed. But this was like the first New Year's day where I woke up at like 7 a.m. It was like, all right, this is a regular day. I'm about to go out and do stuff. Yeah. Usually, you sleep in because you partied a little bit the night before or you was out. But this year, I literally like woke up like all right, it's time for work, but I'm off today. But yeah, man, crazy 2021 beginning, but hopefully, this year can turn around. But all right, if there's nothing else, this is the Second and One podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll get with you guys next time.